The outpost was never meant to be a battlefield. It sat on a wide red plain, under a pale sky, built for patrols, repairs, and quiet duty. 70,000 human troops lived there. Engineers checked shields. Medics treated heat sickness. Soldiers trained, laughed, and sent short messages home. The treaty with the Galactic Coalition had promised safety. No one expected war. At dawn, the sky went silent. Birds stopped moving. Wind died. Even machines paused as if listening. Then the light above the horizon bent in strange lines. Sensors screamed. Radar screens filled with shadows that did not belong to clouds. Alien warships arrived without warning. They did not announce themselves. They did not speak. They simply appeared, hundreds of dark shapes sliding out of nothing. The first strike came from orbit. Blue fire fell like rain. Shields flared once, twice, and then failed. Barracks vanished. Runways cracked open. Power towers folded like paper. Command tried to respond. Orders went out. Fighters scrambled. Anti-air guns fired until barrels burned red. For a moment, it looked like the humans might hold. Then the second wave hit. Precision strikes cut communication lines. Satellites were destroyed one by one. Evacuation ships were targeted before they could lift off. Medbays filled. Fire spread across the base. The air smelled of metal and ash. The alien fleet moved with cold skill. They did not rush. They hunted. Human units regrouped in pockets. Small teams fought street to street. Engineers rerouted power by hand. Medics worked without rest. A colonel held a broken gate with 20 soldiers for nearly an hour. A pilot rammed his burning fighter into an enemy cruiser to buy time for others to escape. It was not enough. Within 4 hours, organized defense collapsed. The last command bunker went dark. By nightfall, the outpost was quiet again, lit only by burning wreckage and falling embers. 70,000 humans were dead. Above the planet, alien commanders gathered in a glowing chamber aboard their flagship. They watched the final scans with interest, not regret. To them, it was a lesson delivered cleanly. One commander laughed. They resisted longer than expected. Another replied, "Resistance changes nothing." They ordered the footage released. Across nearby systems, screens lit up with images of the ruined base. The message was clear. Humans were weak, and treaties meant nothing when power spoke. On Earth, the news arrived in pieces, broken signals, blurred images, names without bodies. Families watched in silence. Cities held their breath. Leaders met behind closed doors. Some demanded calm. Others spoke of negotiation. A few argued for retreat from the stars altogether. The debate was loud but short. When the full footage played, when the world saw the outpost before the strike, the sudden fire, the last stands, something changed. The room went quiet. No one spoke of retreat anymore. Still, Earth did not launch fleets. No great armada formed. No speeches were broadcast to the galaxy. Instead, a single signal left the planet. It was not sent on open channels. It did not carry flags or seals. It traveled through hidden routes and dead relays. It reached places maps did not show. The message was simple. 3 words. Contract approved. No limits. Far from Earth, in stations built inside asteroids, in ships without names, and on worlds forgotten by law. The message was received. Men and women stopped what they were doing. Some closed their eyes. Some smiled without humor. They were known by many names. Mercenaries, ghosts, rent-killers. They were human. They had fought pirates, warlords, and rogue AIs. They had ended wars without treaties and won battles without medals. They did not wear uniforms. They did not answer to councils. They worked for payment, rules, and results. This contract had no limits. Back with the alien coalition, victory celebrations were brief. Reports began to arrive, small at first. A fuel convoy failed to reach its destination. A shipyard lost power for 12 minutes and came back online with missing data. A patrol vanished in a quiet sector. Commanders dismissed it as chance. Then more reports came. Navigation errors increased. Supplies ran late. Secure systems showed strange delays, as if something was testing doors without opening them. An admiral ordered a scan of all routes near the destroyed outpost. Nothing appeared. Space was empty. On Earth, there were no parades. Only a wall of names grew longer each day. 70,000 lights flickered on screens in homes across the planet. People stood and watched. No one asked what would happen next. They already knew. In deep space, a small ship powered up. It carried no markings. Its crew spoke little. The captain checked a list once, then burned it. Another ship followed. Then another. Not together, not in lines, but spread across the dark. The alien coalition believed the war was over. They were wrong. The first move had already been made. The first ship died in silence. It was an alien supply cruiser moving through a safe corridor, far from any known conflict zone. Its shields were strong. Its weapons were ready. Its crew felt no danger. Then its engines shut down at the same time. Not damaged, not destroyed, just off. Seconds later, the ship tore itself apart from the inside. There was no warning shot, no enemy on sensors. The wreckage drifted quietly, spreading metal and frozen bodies into space. By the time the coalition noticed the ship was missing, the killers were already gone. Across several systems, small failures began to stack up. Fuel depots exploded during routine transfers. Shipyards lost gravity for minutes at a time, crushing workers and machines. Long-range scanners started seeing shapes that vanished when focused on. Alien commanders argued. Some claimed it was sabotage by rival species. Others blamed faulty human technology left behind. None of them spoke the word they feared. Humans. The rent killers did not attack like an army. They did not hold ground or raise flags. They studied. They waited. They learned how the coalition moved, how it thought, and where it felt safe. One team hit a data relay hidden inside a moon. They did not destroy it. They copied everything: fleet schedules, supply routes, command codes, then left a delay that would not be noticed for weeks. Another team planted devices inside jump gates, tools so small they looked like dust, waiting for the right signal. The galaxy began to feel unstable. A senior alien admiral woke to find his personal cruiser drifting with no power. Life support held, but weapons and engines were locked. A calm human voice filled the bridge. "This is a warning," it said. "The next time we will not speak." The message ended. Power returned. The cruiser limped home. Panic spread through the high command. Emergency meetings were called. Security increased. Fleets were pulled back to defend core worlds. That only made things worse. When ships gathered, the rent killers struck supply lines instead. When fleets spread out, isolated vessels vanished. No pattern could be trusted. On one industrial planet, factories shut down after their control systems began fighting each other. On another, orbital defenses fired on friendly ships after their threat. Lists were quietly changed. The coalition blamed human hacking, but their best minds could not trace the source, because there was no single source. The rent killers worked in cells. Some never met, some never spoke. They shared results, not plans. If one failed, the others adapted. Earth remained silent. Alien leaders tried to send messages. Apologies were suggested. Compensation was discussed. A formal inquiry into the outpost massacre was proposed. None of the messages received a reply. Instead, another world went dark. This time it was a military training planet. Tens of thousands of alien troops were stationed there. One night cycle, the planet's star flared unexpectedly. Shields failed. Power grids overloaded. When the light faded, the planet was still there, but every base was gone. No human ships were seen. The coalition finally understood the truth. This was not revenge. This was not anger. This was removal. Human rent killers were not punishing actions. They were erasing capability. Every shipyard lost meant fewer fleets. Every data center destroyed meant slower response. Every commander frightened meant weaker decisions. The aliens had killed 70,000 humans in one day. The humans were making sure it could never happen again. A council vote was called. For the first time in coalition history, all member species agreed on one thing: total war. They would gather everything they had, every fleet, every weapon, every soldier. They would strike Earth directly and end the threat at its source. As the order went out, the rent killers watched and listened. They had expected this. Weeks earlier, they had planted the final pieces: hidden drives inside stars, code buried in ancient machines. Fail-safes inside fail-safes. The coming attack would not be met head-on. It would be met at the roots. As alien fleets began to move, jump gates started to fail. Some collapsed completely. Others opened into empty space and never closed. Entire armadas were stranded between systems, burning fuel and time. Commanders shouted for reports. None made sense. On Earth, people looked up at the night sky. They saw nothing. No fleets, no battles. Only quiet. In deep space, a human captain watched a star begin to dim. She said nothing. Her crew said nothing. They knew what it meant. The extinction phase had begun. The first alien star did not explode. It faded. Sensors across the galaxy showed the same impossible reading. Energy dropping, gravity shifting, light bending the wrong way. The star slowly collapsed into itself, quiet and controlled, as if guided by an unseen hand. Round it, fleets lost power. Planets froze in minutes. Civilizations that had lasted thousands of years ended without a single shot fired. The coalition panicked. Emergency channels flooded with orders that changed every minute. Fleets tried to retreat, but jump gates failed. Others tried to advance, only to find empty space where paths once existed. Commanders blamed engineers. Engineers blamed physics. Nothing could stop the collapse. Human rent-killers did not celebrate. They watched their instruments and checked their lists. Each target was marked complete, one by one. Not every world was destroyed. Many were simply cut off, isolated forever, unable to trade, travel, or fight. This was mercy by human standards. On one surviving command world, the coalition leaders gathered for the last time. The chamber was damaged, lights flickering, air thin. For the first time, fear was visible on every face. A human signal appeared in the center of the room. Not a fleet, not a weapon. A simple projection. A human woman stood there, calm and still. "You killed 70,000 of ours," she said. Her voice was steady. They were not soldiers of conquest. They were guardians. One leader tried to speak, but the signal continued. "We did not answer with fleets," the woman said. "We answered with certainty." Screens around the chamber lit up. Systems marked red. Gates marked closed. Stars marked unstable. Each mark represented a choice the coalition could no longer make. "You asked what would happen next," she said. "This is it." The signal ended. Outside the chamber, alarms failed. Power died. The leaders sat in silence, understanding at last. Their empire was not ending in fire. It was ending in irrelevance. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out. Fleets surrendered to empty space. Planets declared peace to no one. Armies laid down weapons because there was no enemy left to fight, and no way to reach one. Human fleets finally appeared. They did not attack, they observed. Ships bearing Earth's mark entered key systems, offering aid to civilians, evacuations, and medical support. They ignored military targets. The message was clear. The war was over, but humanity was not cruel. On Earth, the names of the 70,000 were read aloud. Not in one place, but everywhere. Schools paused. Factories stopped. Streets went quiet. The loss was carried together. The rent-killers returned their ships to dark docks. Contracts were closed. Payments were refused. Many of them disappeared again, back into places where history could not follow. One captain erased her last log. Another burned his armor. None of them asked for thanks. They had done the job. Years later, the galaxy looked different. Old empires were gone. Trade routes were rewritten. New treaties formed, careful and respectful. No species laughed at humans anymore. They remembered the lesson. Humans were not the strongest race. They were not the largest. They did not rule by fear. They ruled by response. At the edge of known space, a monument floated in orbit around the red plain where the outpost once stood. It was simple. No weapons, no flags. Just 70,000 lights, steady and bright. A single line was etched beneath them. Here stood those who were killed without cause. From here began the war that ended empires. No alien fleet ever crossed that space again. And in the quiet between stars, the message spread without words. Humanity does not seek extinction, but if extinction is forced upon them, they will decide who remains.